Well, hello. It seems that emotion is the monster under the bed of psychology. I think we need to talk about emotions. Welcome to the Energy Show. Here we discuss the energy solutions to the problems of the modern age. It's all about emotional well being, it's all about energy, and our happiness matters. Hey, hey, and what a wonderful morning it is. And there are many people on this planet in the English speaking realm who are very, very emotional this morning.
Why would that be, Silvia Hartman?
I understand that a particular person won, or a particular party won the election in America, and another particular party and another particular person lost the election in America
Oh,
last night.
wahey and
So
wahoo, depending on which camp you are currently in, I guess.
yeah, that's the thing. Just to be clear, we are not Americans. We are English. Rule Britannia. So but we have obviously our own cross to bear. Is the only word that I can put onto that. We
Oh,
have our
Silvia, are
own
we talking about politics today? Are we going to talk
crosses
about
to bear.
emotion? What do you think we're going to talk about?
Well, it is today a day where people will have a variety of different emotions, right?
Mm.
And on our dear little modern energy chart, we will have some people who are going to be very much down in the dumps. They might be blue or red, or some might be five, really frightened of what's going to happen next.
Ah, you mean -5?
-5, yeah.
Hmm.
Then there might be other people who are just stressed and worried and asking themselves, how will this affect me? And then we've
Mm.
got the people who go, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care who's on the top of the pyramid. I'm still eating my rats that I catch in the street every day. So,
Yeah, same garbage, another day.
yep. Or as Daenerys Targaryen says, the wheel keeps turning. Sometimes it's the Tories on top, and sometimes it's Labour Party, but it's always the small guy that gets crushed under the wheel. So
Ah,
this is, by the way, where I'm
the
standing
small folk.
politically. I stand with Daenerys Targaryen on that one.
We
This
stand
is
with the small folk.
with a small folk, yeah. So unless you're going up the chart, then there's some people who are going, I wonder if this is going to bring opportunity. I might be starting to think about some sort of an idea. There's some people going like, okay, let's get to work. Now that this has happened, I'm, just let's go to work. Woohoo. And then there's some other people who are going, yay, just basking in the glow, basically. And then right at the other end, you've got people who are having a party this morning. And
Mm.
all of these people exist on this emotion scale in America and worldwide after every election or every war or every battle through the history of humanity, going, millions of years down the road. This is that we always have winners and losers. Um, my energy mind just said after every football game, you got people crying because their team has lost, and other people celebrating because their team has won. So
Mm.
we have that's it. I mean, this is human experience, it's human emotion, and
Mm.
there we have it. And that's how it is. And you can also get bad winners, of course, right?
Ah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, we come from the UK, so we have got this idea of democracy where we put a king or a queen in a palace,
Yeah.
and we never elect an official to be in a palace. We put them in a terrace house in the middle of London, where the bricks have turned black by the smoke from the chimneys and the coal and uh,
Well,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
so what I was
I
going to
like
suggest,
how it all
what
went.
I was going to suggest is that welcome, dear visitor, and
Mm,
whichever side of the thing that happened last night you are on, in or whatever side you're on in any kind of war and battle that you personally are engaged in, please join me in the heart position for a moment. Take a deep breath
which one?
and tap your feet on the floor. I think that's very important. So we don't drift off into cloud cuckoo land, but we remember that we're really living here right now in this reality, in this environment. This is where we are. Here we are. And our hearts are beating and we breathe deeply.
Mm,
Ah. By all means, we can become aware of the oceans of energy in which we are a part.
mm,
And I have found one of the best ways of self healing is to actually make an effort to heal other people. So on this day, and because we are powerful people with powerful energy, real radiant living energy bodies, we're going to send some love and healing to all who are distressed and disturbed because they've lost a battle or they feel they
mm,
lost a battle with something. Everybody at all who is in deep negative energy states and they can't see a future, they can't see a way out, they
mm,
can't reconnect with that wave of the planet still spinning, the sun is still rising, the
mm.
oceans still moving towards the shore.
I agree with
Then,
you, Sylvia. I think
yeah,
in these situations, for the people that are despairing, there is that constancy, isn't it? The world will still continue to turn.
yes.
The tides will still come in and out, and the
Yeah.
clouds will drift on their way above,
Mhm.
way above it all.
And the
um,
future is unfolding and it is arising from the place within which we are right now. So let's take a deep breath. And if you are one of the ones that is triumphant and full of glory, by all means, take that high energy and really radiate love, compassion, and healing to those who are very low on energy today. Because having low energy people in your city, in your house, in your civilization, on this
mm,
planet is very dangerous for us all. So we should all make it our business to really, really send love, compassion, and do the best that we can to create a more loving, more compassionate society and
mm.
understanding for human beings all around the world. And I'd like you to join me in just sending out that attention, your ability to love unconditionally to those who are suffering and those who are in need.
And always be magnanimous in victory and magnanimous in defeat. I always like that one.
That's very good. I like that a lot too. Huh.
And those, of course, those two imposters should be treated the same.
Indeed, they
This is
should.
life.
It,
Everybody wins sometimes, and everybody loses sometimes.
well, I'm 65 years old now, and I don't know how many elections that cycles that entails in Germany and in England, and I'm like over it. It's
Mm,
just it's that wheel that Daenerys speaks of that turns and crushes the little people as it goes, that's how it is. And one
mm,
time these are on top and then the others are on top. And but does life for us real human beings actually get better under
mm,
any of them? I don't think so, unless you're a politician. And I'm going to say this: if somebody had told me when I was a child that what the job of a politician is and why you should want to become a politician, I might have become a politician. Would you like to hear what that is,
mm.
that big insight?
What was
It
your big
goes,
insight, Sylvia?
well, when you become a politician, you get to be put in a position of power right next to a giant river of money, which is from the taxpayers. and
Mm.
you get to be in charge of how that river is directed. You can direct it into your own pockets, towards your friends and family, and you get to build all the river, the irrigation infrastructure, and that's your job
Yeah.
as a politician. And I would have been
Well,
like, that sounds really cool. I can really help my family, my friends, and the people who have the same opinions as me. I like that. I'm going to
I
become a
think we can step
politician.
it back a little bit, Silvia. The first thing that governments did was to actually make people value currency as an entity. You know, its currency is, of course, completely made up, and it's only the value that we give it that where its value comes from. I
Mm.
mean,
But I
I
just
mean,
like the I
try
like
to
the
offer
idea of
a $5 note or £5 note to a dolphin and see how far that gets you. Where's the fish, mate?
well, there's the wonderful story of the starving people after the Second World War,
Mm,
trying to get a rat on a stick by holding up diamonds and rubies and things, and
worthless things,
completely
yeah.
worthless. And their certificates as a
Mm.
care worker that they worked so hard to get.
Oh,
But it didn't get them
oh.
a rat on a stick. Sad story. Okay, so let's talk
This
about
day,
emotions. Let's talk about
yes.
emotions. We've cleared sort of the air a little bit about
Mm,
the current events that have been happening, and
mm.
yeah, I'm going to bring Mr. Monster back. So, what do you think about emotions, Alex?
I think they are massively under-researched. I think that people, when they so up until Darwin times, people used to think of animals being these automatons. Essentially, they felt that if that God has made us special,
Yeah,
therefore the animals are just robots, organic robots going
yeah.
around doing their thing. And from Darwin onwards, he came up with this idea that, you know what, if we are all evolved from, was it phylogenetic or something, the tree of life, if we all share common ancestors, then surely there's going to be human traits in other species. And so began the, few hundred years of trying to say that a horse can count, and uh, and uh, dolphins are clever, but I don't know, dolphins are more cleverer than sloths, and looking for all these human attributes in animals. But what they were saying essentially was, I mean, what is it, 1968, when someone looked at a chimpanzee using a tool and said, well, hey, this is the first animal ever to be seen, filmed. We're using a tool. Wow, because we use tools and we're clever. Any animal that uses tools is clever. But then, of course, that completely precludes anything to do with nest building, which is this incredibly anyway. I could talk for hours on this, Sylvia Hartman.
I remember a time
But
on the
yes, and
animal topic. I
all of this,
remember.
all of this is when animals, when looking at how animals are like humans. But I do not know if any research is being done to how animals feel like humans. To bring it back to that.
Ah, I remember we had a conference once with animal healing, and there was a guy who proposed that animals don't have a soul, and he was nearly lynched. Like the animals and emotions, that's just hilarious. Any
Yeah,
person who's ever been near any animal knows bloody well that they have emotions. They get angry, they get stressed, they get sad, they get excited.
yeah.
Of course, animals have emotions.
Mm.
Only a complete fool would deny the reality that animals have emotions. It's
I remember there
hilarious.
being a person who was in this monastery, maybe 1,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago, that he posited that if God has given humans a soul, then maybe it's likely and also probable that that God also gave animals a small soul, rather than it being
A
all or
big soul.
nothing. maybe in this wonderful creation thing, cut open a pig, cut open a human, they're quite similar inside, right? So maybe the souls, yeah, anyway, you can definitely see see. Yeah. Anyway, this monk was completely ridiculed and probably
Of course he
died.
was. Of
Died
course he
sad
was.
and alone. But
I was at I was at
just
a
way.
party on Saturday, and I was
Mm,
talking to somebody, and they'd asked me what I do, and I said, "Well, I research emotions." And he
mm,
said, "Oh, what is that?" And I said, "Well, of course, psychology doesn't even have a workable definition of emotions."
mm,
And the guy was like, "Wow." And next to me, somebody piped up, "Yes, they do." And I turn around, and there's a psychologist, and I'm like,
oh.
this is fun. And I looked back at this person and when like go to Google it, Google the definitions of emotions that exist in psychology right now on this planet, and then come back to me and explain to me how that is workable, as in useful, as in
Mm,
something that you can do something with, make a research project based upon, or anything, really, anything useful to be done with
mm,
it, workable, a workable definition of emotions. And before I go any further, let me just briefly say our definition of emotions. So, emotions in modern energy are our true sixth sense. They are designed for us to get information about things that we cannot see, hear, feel, taste, or smell. They provide us with information about our own invisible structures as well as those around us, what we call the oceans of
mm,
energy. And they exist on a spectrum which goes from the very fine little intuitions, little shivers going down your spine, what we normally experience as emotions, boo-hoo, woohoo kind of things, and then the psychosomatic emotions, which are indistinguishable from physical pain or pleasure. And none of those are in your head. They are sensations in the physical body. So
mm,
that's where we say, when somebody says, "Oh, I'm so angry at my dad,"
mm,
we say to them, "Where do you feel that in your body, that anger in your body? Show me with your hands." And then they go, "It's just here." And we say,
mm,
"Okay, that's where that is located in your energy body." Now we know where it is. We don't have to guess. We don't have to hallucinate. Don't have to ask a shaman. You just showed us where you feel it. That's where it is. Now we can apply some sort of an energy thing to that so that you then feel differently.
mm,
So that's my definition for emotions. And most of you guys will know that. But I thought, in case a newbie finds their way to our shores, I'll explain it again. So thank you for
mm.
listening so patiently. So I then went to find a list of 10 definitions for what are emotions from different psychology modalities. Should we start with the first one? Can you read that out, Alex?
Cognitive psychology. Emotions are mental states that arise from cognitive appraisals of events or situations influencing thoughts and behaviors. Hmm. So that's an interesting one, isn't it? I suppose though, cognitive psychology it's that whole idea, like if the only tool you have is a hammer, then every problem is a nail. So of course, the cognitive psychology lot are looking for cognitive appraisals and cognitive influences and cognitive behaviors and cognitive emotions. That surprises me very little.
So what they're saying is emotions are mental states, and they're not. They're really not.
Mm,
They're in your whole body. They are something completely other than mental states. And I would even say, let's go the other way and say that it's the emotions that create the mental states we find ourselves in. You know,
mm.
this is the wrong way around, in my opinion. We're not going to do all
Yeah.
10. Don't despair. Let's pick
I
another
mean,
one.
can I just say a cognitive appraisal? I mean, the way I read that is actually thinking about how you feel about stuff,
Yes.
right? Would that be your understanding of what a cognitive appraisal is? Obviously, when
Well,
you're
we
thinking
might
about
need to
stuff, you're not
define.
feeling stuff.
We might need to define many of these things
Mm,
before, what's a thought, What's a cognitive appraisal? What do they mean by mental states?
Mm.
There's so much things that aren't defined in psychology, which including emotions really, and their attempts at definition are just poor. Right,
All
let's
right, we got the next one.
try
Your turn, Sylvia.
behavioral. Okay,
You go
behavioral
for it.
psychology. Emotions are observable behaviors and psychological responses to stimuli. Excuse me, which one is it to be? Often
Physiological, not
studied
psychological.
and physiological responses to stimuli, often studied through actions and reactions. Wow.
Mm.
That's what emotions are. So that explains when I fall in love, how that is. And this explains
That's
how
so
when I
funny,
get
isn't it?
angry, I lose my mind and I start screaming like a 2-year-old and I've lost access to my cognitive abilities. I mean, that's
I
just not helpful, is it?
obviously it's the same. It's the same as with before, isn't it? The behavioral psychologists will be looking at behavior to explain emotions, and I mean the physiological responses I can get on board with because you do feel things. Yeah, that is the whole point. That's why they're called feeling. A feeling is a feeling.
Yes, but it's saying here that it's physiological responses to stimuli. That's very
Mm.
interesting. What you call a stimulus in
Um, a
you know,
beautiful person walking in front of you, or um, could be you're walking down a dark alleyway, and then someone scary looking, a horrible clown jumps out in front of you. I'd say
yeah,
that's a fairly strong stimulus.
yeah, it's an interesting thing, but it's not very workable, is it? So when somebody comes
Mm.
to you and says, "Oh, my emotions are all over the place. I'm really upset because of the results of the events in the world last night. I can't think. I can't sleep. This doesn't really help us, does it? It's the
I
word
think so.
workable. The workable definition that takes us somewhere, that does something, that helps us in some
Exactly.
way, is what I'm after.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
My
Developmental
turn.
psychology. Go on then.
Developmental psychology. Emotions are complex processes that develop over time, influenced by genetic, environmental, and social factors.
So, in other words, we
Whoa.
have no bloody idea whatsoever, right?
Well, when you say something is a complex process, that
That
normally means
develops
that you
over
haven't got
time.
the ability to understand what it is.
Exactly. That develops over time, but
Oh,
it's influenced by genetic, environmental, and social factors. That just you might just well just say, I have no idea what they
exactly.
are.
So,
None.
so yeah, like physicist, what happened before the Big Bang? Oh, it was a complex process.
Yes,
Ah.
very it's a complex. I sometimes say that. Oh, it's a
Mm.
complex tapestry. Neuropsychology, emotions are brain-based responses involving neural circuits, particularly the amygdala. Oh my God. Whenever I hear the word amygdala, this is to me an instant, what they call it, a wolf whistle. A wolf whistle for something that isn't in the slightest bit scientific. The other wolf whistle I keep hearing is quantum physics. Now, quantum physics somehow explains the energy body or the soul or anything like that. The minute I hear it, I know I'm literally talking to a charlatan, somebody who's got great ideas, but no scientific evidence at all. So,
Mm.
if you want to trip me out, use the word amygdala. Oh, just get lost. Get lost. Oh, here is clinical psychology. That's the one that most patients are going to be treated under, isn't it, when they go
Okay.
to a psychologist? You
So
read that one,
clinical
please.
psychology, emotions are subjective experiences that can influence mental health with certain emotional patterns linked to psychological disorders. Again,
Yeah,
what they're looking at is negative emotions, aren't they? They're very specifically focused on the if there's like when you go to a doctor, you say what's wrong with you. You don't say what's right with you. And I think the clinical psychologists are taking a very negative focus on this.
yes, but also the thing is that in states of high stress, especially here down from -5 downwards, You are any normal person that has nothing wrong with them, that if they're just extremely stressed for whatever reason,
Mm.
will show all the signs of mental illness. The signs of mental illness are the signs of the things that happen under high stress. Like the guy at the shivering guy there, he's paranoid. He's hearing voices. He's thinking that everybody's looking at him. He's thinking that he's got I don't know, the FBI in his light sockets or something. That's
Mm.
normal if you're that stressed, and everybody who gets that stressed starts to think that way. It's a natural side effect of being stressed. So
Mm.
certain emotional patterns may well be linked to psychological disorders. But to me, the biggest problem with psychology is that they are mistaking people who are very stressed for crazy people and
Mm.
giving them a diagnosis when they're just normal people who have been massively stressed, often for really good reasons, you know? That upsets me the most.
Yeah.
That upsets me the most. Somebody who's been, I don't know, beaten up a lot and abused and that, and they're going somewhere and they're saying, "Oh, I hear voices," and you're schizophrenic.
Mm.
No, no, this is a super stressed person. You just put them somewhere nice, give them some good food and some loving care, and you'll find that the voices recede. If they don't, then we know that person may have some kind of a psychological disorder, but you should test them first before you make these diagnoses. That's what I think. You know, I might
Well,
be a
yeah,
fool. Who's to
I
say?
agree, Sylvia. I agree, Sylvia. So how I would improve that definition is, so it's saying that emotions are subjective experiences that can influence mental health. I would say as well that it's more of a two-way street. Your mental health influences your subjective experiences of emotions, right? Um, with so I'd say it's not just, you know, dog wags tail, and it's actually tail wags dog as well, you know. So yeah, but it's I mean I definitely feel like it means well, but there is certainly a tendency to think of mental health as being in the negative, you know, not someone that's, you know, giddy with joy skipping down the street
Yeah,
hugging strangers kind of
well,
level.
that's the
That's
whole
not what
thing.
they're talking about.
Well, that's the whole thing with the fish tank of insanity. The
Mm.
SUD scale ends at zero,
Mm.
zero emotions, and no, we need to go into the positive. Dee, dee, dee,
Mm.
dee, dee. Does anybody? Oh, here we go. Emotions are shaped by cultural norms. Oh, sod off cultural psychology. Just go away. Now, this is quite nice. Positive psychology. Could you read that out, please?
Certainly, positive psychology. Emotions are key components of well-being and happiness, with positive emotions fostering resilience, creativity, and personal growth.
Yes, I mean the second half of that sentence is good. I'm on board with that. That is very true. Positive emotions are healthy and they're good for us, and we need more of them, which is why our GOE thing is your happiness matters, right?
Mm.
Um,
Isn't it nice that they're actually thinking along the lines of positive psychology?
well,
I like.
you can't be a human being and not notice that happier people heal faster, remember things more, learn easier, are better to be around, are, just better colleagues, better parents,
Mm.
better children. You'd have to be completely insane not to notice that at some point along the line. So I'm glad that they've noticed that. But emotions are key components, is that's not a definition of emotions or what emotions are.
No, it does imply that you understand what an emotion is in the first place, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't define what an emotion is.
Mm.
They're key
But yeah,
components.
no,
That's
it's
just
nice.
not. It's a nice try. I mean, they've seen the effect, which is nice, but the problem is that, and I'm just really gonna bang on about that. The problem is that psychology doesn't have a decent definition of emotions.
Mm.
That's a problem. If you're having an entire field, an entire
Well, you do have the
entire
problem
field
if
of
every field.
study. That
uses a
doesn't
different
define that
definition.
which you're supposed to be studying,
Mm.
but they're not studying emotions. They're not studying
Yeah.
emotions, but we want to study emotions.
Yes, what I believe to be good emotions is this very old part of our systems that predates this logical mind, that takes in information from the environment and then processes it with prior learning, maybe some inherited ideas, and and has that ability to respond so much faster, so much more intuitively. Then, hence, you get your gut feeling. Hence, you get your, when something's the right choice or the wrong choice, and you feel it.
Mm.
You feel it.
Yeah,
That's
that's an emotion. Yeah.
that's why I think it's the old part of our systems before we got this wonderful ability to dream up entities that don't exist and
Oh, I've got to
like
I've got to say
like
something about
heresy,
that.
like gods.
I Animals could dream up entities that don't exist. I used to have
Which
a
particular
German
animals?
I had a German Shepherd who went completely berserk when it saw a snowman. So snowman's just made of snow, so it should smell of snow.
Mm,
It had a twig in it and a carrot nose. Okay, so they might have smelled of people touching it. Fair enough. Had sort of a hat. And we're coming round the corner, and there's the snowman in the park. And this German Shepherd dog went absolutely berserk. I mean, he absolutely went mad, as though he'd seen the biggest monster that you could
yeah,
possibly imagine. He was barking, he was hysterical, he was desperate for us not to get any closer to it, and,
mm.
trying to herd us back from this
That's not exactly
enormous.
making up an entity. That's
It
more
is.
so.
It is making up an entity because it's just a pile of snow.
No,
Yes, it's
no, no,
just a
no. That
pile
is
of snow.
mistake. Yeah,
The
I
dog absolutely saw a monster. He didn't see that which was there, which was a pile of snow with a carrot
mm,
sticking out of it. He saw what he interpreted as a monster. And that is
mm.
making up an entity that isn't there and that doesn't exist. As in my books. I mean, we could argue for this for hours, but
Well, I think my version of an entity would be if you said to the dog, "Round that corner is a big, big, big monster," and then it starts behaving as if there was a big monster behind that. The fact that this is clearly a person, humanoid shaped object that is bigger. It reminds me of that famous experiment with the toddlers, where they what they did was they were pushing cars around, little toys cars around, and they had this little clear perspex bit. So they, from the child's point of view, they push it off the ledge and it
off
should
the
drop
cliff.
to the floor,
Right.
but it doesn't. It just kind of like hovers in
Oh.
midair. And so this car is clearly not behaving the laws of Newtonian physics that we all have on inside ourselves, that we can, like when someone throws a ball at you, you can actually calculate in your mind or in your brain the arc as it for its velocity and its weight and the gravity and where you need to move your hand to catch it. It's incredible. And anyway, back to this experiment. So these toddlers were then given a whole range of toys, like really exciting stuff to play with. It was always the one that was not behaving in the way that it should do. They always picked up that toy car just to experiment because, that's what it is, isn't it? We're naturally curious about things that that don't obey the internal laws that we give ourselves.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So yeah, this whole emotion thing is wonderful, and well, we are mostly dealing with people, although there are obviously, when you're coming to horse training or dog training or anything like that, understanding animal emotions is super important, and understanding your own emotions so that you can interact with the animal in some shape or
Mm.
form. It's nice definition of emotions is a good thing to have at the basis of our beautiful new third field, which isn't psychology. I'm so happy to say that time and time again. It's not psychology. We're doing modern energy. We're focusing on the energy body and trying to make that a little bit happier. And in doing so, got rewarded with that that beautiful definition of emotions.
Mm.
Emotions are telling you about things that you can't see, hear, feel, taste, or smell. Simples.
Hence, they're our sixth sense.
Yeah, that's right. I avoid saying that word because I really trip over that sixth sense.
Sixth sense, sixth sense, little bit. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's interesting as well. Like animals as well, with the obviously. Um, so since Darwin, we've kind of taken on a more of an anthropomorphic view of animals, thinking actually maybe they are similar to ourselves and looking for similarities. And
And
it's
they actually really
fascinating.
are, if only in
It's
their
fascinating.
emotions. If
Like when
only
you
in
when you
their
look at a
emotions.
nervous horse and you can see it's not hasn't got like a primate's face. It hasn't got like the normal cues that we can look for other monkey-esque species. Yet when the ears flatten and it starts to shake and stuff, we can totally sense their emotions.
Of course we can.
We can get a sense of the feeling of that horse, or we should be able to. Obviously, some people are very good at ignoring those signals. Um,
I
yeah,
remember
leading
a
to
wonderful,
dog
a
bites
wonderful.
and things.
I had a star moment with a little boy who was supposed to be autistic, and we were watching together
Mm,
television show When Animals Go Mad, and the voiceover. So for example, there is an elephant and a keeper,
mm.
and the keeper keeps prodding the elephant with a stick.
Oh God, this
Prod,
doesn't
prod,
end well,
prod,
does
prod,
it?
prod, 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 prod. And the voiceover goes, "This is a lovely keeper with his elephant. In a moment, this elephant is going to go mad for no reason. Prod, 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 prod. Ah! You know,
Mm,
and this was the voiceover for every one of the clips. And there's somebody else with a dog on a lead, and they're annoying the hell out of it. They keep pulling on the lead and making it go. And the dog is like, "Ugh, just stop it, please." Ugh." And then
mm,
one more pull on the lead, and
mm,
and the voiceover once more. This friendly family pet, for no good reason,
mm.
is going mad. And it was so good because that little kid picked up the pattern and saw that and said, well, if they would stop annoying the animals so much, perhaps they wouldn't go mad. And I thought, wow.
Yes,
I mean, just
that's.
wow. From a small, 7-year-old autistic kid, that
Mm.
statement, if they weren't annoying them that much, perhaps they wouldn't explode like that.
Annoying sends them down the energy chart to
Yeah,
the red angry person that's flipping out.
yeah.
The last energy generator, isn't it? That's the
That's it. The emergency
runaway.
generator.
Yeah, emergency energy generator. Yeah, what's it? The freeze, flight, fight reflex. Where if you don't prove your situation after that, then you are that person in fetal position that needs external help to get you out of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can understand why they want to, you know, try to change their situation in any way they can.
Okay, so we come to the end of this little discussion about emotions. So you know where I'm coming from, where we're coming from is emotions is
Mm,
feedback from your energy body, basically. First of
mm,
all, emotions are your feedback about how your own energy body is working.
mhm,
And when that is screaming in pain and suffering and causing you to be angry, depressed, distraught, paranoid, then you need to pay attention to your own energy body, first of all. And there are lots
mm.
of good things. Start with the heart position. And my biggest advice always is to think about something that you love. Shall we do that to end our session together here today?
Ooh, I think that's
Yeah,
always a good way of
just
raising
assume.
energy, isn't it,
Yeah,
Sylvia?
join me now and in the heart position and take a deep breath in and out. Remember the feet on the floor. That's
Mhm,
always good. We are here, we are now. We're in the place of power on our timelines. There's
mhm,
nothing we can do about the future, nothing we can do about the past, but right here and now is the place of
mm,
power. So I'd like you to just please think about something or someone that you love, that you really love.
mhm.
Think about them
Mhm.
some more. Why they are so wonderful, or why that is so beautiful. Why you love it so much with all your heart.
Mhm.
And as that emotion starts to rise, just allow yourself to become emotional. That's also important. Don't try and block it out if you can start to feel like a pressure under the eyes. If I love anymore, I'm going to start to cry or something.
Mhm.
Just allow that it's only energy to just flow up through and out and enliven you on this day.
Mhm.
Breathe deeply and just send a thank you to that which you love.
Mhm.
Send back your love to it. Ah,
Mhm. Oh,
that was nice.
very
That
nice,
made me
Silvia.
feel, yeah, that made me feel better. Ah.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. So if you've got some comments for us or some questions, things that you'd like us to investigate, Sylvia and Alex investigate. Today it was the monster under the bed of psychology, which I'm really looking forward to making a thumbnail about, which is
Mm.
emotions. And yeah, if you want to learn more about emotions, go and take a GOE training, become a member, get a free foundation course,
Come to our conference. Become a trainer. Yes.
do something.
Bye for
Do
now.
something.
Thanks for
Make
watching.
make the world a better place.
Mm.